right. Hello, good peoples. Bruce back at you with targeted wealth creation. I've got FEPI, CEPI, and API. AIPI. All right, let's jump in here. Let's do two of these just declared um, yesterday, and one of them on Friday. And Monday obviously was a holiday. So let's jump into FEPI. What did FEPI pay? $1.23.25 for a yield of 34.20. You can see that the last three yields have been up in the 30s and then they were in the 25. So this one's kind of sticks to a range, but then occasionally it breaks out. Look at this, 5 consecutive monthlies where the underlying or the price itself has NAV erosion. The underlying is they hold a bunch of FANG innovation companies and write covered calls. I've got the holdings down here on FEPI. It varies over time, but you see the Alphabets, the Microsofts, the Apples, the Broadcoms, the Netflix, the Amazon, Salesforce, Nvidia, Meta, Tesla, Micron, Palantir, and then cash, obviously. So let's continue down that path. Let's take a look. How's their overall NAV gain or loss? Well, they've paid out over, this one's the longest by far, since November of 2023. So a year and a half. It's paid a total of 1785 in distributions, and its NAV has lost $10. So you're $7.07 ahead on that. We'll look at all that summary data that popped up when I first was here. So let's cruise on down to API. All right. So API is, I think, the newest. Yeah. This one I did in reverse order. So one, yeah, and this is 5 payments in. Yeah, so they go in the order of length, right? Popular. It's not popularity, but how long they've been launched. Okay, so Appy is done a little worse in terms of the NAV erosion. We'll see in the summer. It's paid 15.79, so it's distributing more money. Typically, this was not much, although there were two here. So I don't know. I'll have to double check if I didn't make an error on that. I got $1.48 and 48. Let me check on something else while we're talking. Happy historic. I'm on my other monitor looking, guys. And that was 11/13/24. Well, I've got a 151 paid out in November 2024 for Appy. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll fix it before the next one um, and get that figured out. But this is current, the $1.23, guys. Um, and that yielded 35.40 based on the price. I always put in the price one day prior to declaration. So because of the holiday, this is the close on Friday, not the current price. Okay, actually, the current price on Appy was down on Wednesday to 41.10. All right, let's go take a look at CEPI, crypto related, and I'll go through the holdings briefly. Um, So what I did on this one is I'm running it the other way. I'll probably flip it back because I was showing, when they were so small, a few entries, I was showing future distribution. So I just ran it in this order. So my current is down instead of on the top like the other one. So $1.38, call it $1.39, 42.94. CEPI's at 38.79, and that's up from the previous month. So what I'm showing is $7.45 in distribution and $9.66 in NAV erosion. So you don't want to see a negative. You know what that means on total return. All right. So let's go look at all that stuff and we'll see what we've got going on there. And then I'll take you a little bit through the holdings on these two. Well, let's do CEPI first on the holding. So CEPI is all these are covered calls. So Micron, Nvidia, AMD, Visa, Robinhood, the Hood, MasterCard, Riot, MicroStrategy, and these get updated a fair amount. This is a couple months old, but they don't vary radically. Mara, Coin, PayPal, CleanSpark. I mean, these are all pretty solid um, companies. Let's look at the API holdings. NVIDIA, CrowdStrike, Palantir, what does that tell you? Top companies, right? ARM Holdings, Supermicro, Intel, not so much. They may not be in it now. Apple, Micron, IBM, a little dated with IBM, AMD, Cisco, Adobe, Microsoft, Qualcomm, Palo Alto, Broadcom. These are all terrific. Palo Alto, Broadcom. I didn't see any. Oh, yeah, I did CrowdStrike up here. I like all those. Alphabet, Meta, Salesforce, Amazon, ServiceNow, Synopsys. All right. So let's take a look at these summarized because this is where the rubber meets the road as far as I'm concerned. This is how I invest. If I don't see a positive track record, or if I get in something and it's not performing, I'll get out. Um, no sense on sitting there. There's a saying, put your money where it treats you the best. And sometimes you learn what is the best. Sometimes you do a lot of research and study ahead of time. And that's why people like myself can educate you, other YouTubers, people have been there, done that. Not all, I mean, some are just guessing, but you can usually tell. And you listen to people that you feel comfortable that they know a little bit about what they're talking about. I mean, a lot of people do my portfolio. My portfolio is probably 100 positions, guys. I got 30 or 40 mining positions from majors to mid caps to junior explorers. So for me to show my portfolio, I usually talk, I don't own any of these, FEPI, API, or CEPI, right? When I'm in my yield max or I'm in a curve or I'm in a granite, I usually tell you what I have when I'm talking about it. Um, but as far as just showing the whole portfolio, it's too massive for people. And then, when I put a play in, I'm thinking about just giving sort of a free advice and say, follow me. Like I've got a VIX trade I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to buy UVIX, just talking on this video. Going to buy UVIX. Already bought some yesterday. I'll probably buy some tomorrow, and it'll be a swing trade for about 2 weeks. I think the VIX is going to massively move up. Therefore, UVIX, which is a 2x, is going to move up. So from 26 to 28, I've got some at 28. I hopefully can buy some more at 26, 27. I'm hoping to flip out at 40 or 50. I might even write a call after it moves. It should only take about 2 weeks. Next week should start the move, and then the following week uh, be a big move, and maybe even into the week of the 23rd. So that's a swing trade example. Swing trade example. I just talk about anybody that wants to take a look at that, take a look at it. All right, finishing this up. 11% on FEPI, the oldest fund, right? It has a dividend return. It's paid 1785 of 3453, but when we annualize it, this one shrinks because it's got 596 days in existence, right? So we bring it back to a 365-day year. Um, and therefore we get a 21% payment history. And it has a 10% because the same thing. Our loss is 1654 and it drops it to 10. So when you add those two numbers together, you get 11%. API is the winner, and API is a shorter history, right? Less than a year, but pretty close to a year, 359 days, and it has a total of 1248. So it has a dividend return of 3116, and it has a loss of 19.2 annualized, which is almost exactly what its loss is, right? When you're this close to 365 days. Now on CEPI, CEPI's hurting because of the NAV drop over 176, and you got to kind of double that, right? It's close enough to the 365. And so you end up with an annualized loss of 48%. Whether it turns around or not, it's the only stat you can go on right now. Uh, so it's paid a nice annualized dividend, but it's under API and over FEPI, but this is what hurts it. It's NAV erosion, it's drop. So we'll talk some more about that on the next reporting and see if CEPI can turn it around. Hit me up in the comments with questions, what you want to know. And thank you for liking and subscribing when you enjoy the content. Again, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. This is not financial advice. Please always use a professional financial advisor before making substantial financial investments. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye for now.